doing a commercial-based kind of a sheep rearing, I would really advise one to go for the the heavily built ones. In this case, the Masai Doba, or rather the South African Doba. But for someone like me who is a Gikuyu, who really regard sheep as otoga, we really are not more into the business side of it, but as our traditions dictate, utonga wa mundu rume ni mahiu kana ng'ondu ciake.
Welcome to KI Africa, where we bring you information on agriculture, the new farming technology, and the marketing agricultural value. Today we are here in Kiambu, where we will look at this farm and what they are doing inside here. It's very exciting to see such structures for a young farmer, and we will be talking to them so that they can tell us what they do in these structures. This is KI Africa, and good to see you again.
Welcome to also our sheep pen. Basically, as Desil, we try to diversify as much as we can. So this is our sheep pen. Basically, what we do here is that we rear sheep. We have quite a multiple of the breeds. We have the Masai Doba. We also do have the the Masai sheep itself, and we also do the blackhead. Yeah. So apparently we have the three types. We used to have the merino one, but for few reasons we don't have them currently. But we majorly deal with the three types of sheep here. That is the Masai Doba, the blackhead, and there's one that used to be referred to as the Kikuyu sheep. Yeah. So we've also divided them into two sections. This is because we are trying to avoid inbreeding as much as we can. Mind you, one of the leading factors as to why most farmers face challenges with growing their flocks is that they are not equally able to ascertain that they curb down inbreeding, and inbreeding is a key factor when it comes to a sheep, or rather any kind of animals when it comes to breeding. There is no point you can be able to grow your flock or your herd if at all you have inbreeding cases. They always give birth, but when they turn 2 months old or 1 month old, they just succumb to death due to maybe weaknesses or other malfunctions, diseases that you can not even cure. One, as a farmer, you have to be straightforward on the reason as to why you are rearing your sheep. For instance, a farmer who wants to rear sheep for pure, mutton? For pure mutton, will tend to go for the Masai Doba, which in terms of size is quite bigger compared to the Masai sheep itself. So it really have to be dependent on the purpose as to why that particular farmer is rearing that type of breed. Also, the weather condition is also a key aspect. For instance, merino sheep are said to do well in highland areas, while the Masai sheep are said to be doing well in the dry areas. This is because of their metabolism rate and what have you, and their hardness to adapt to such conditions. So with me here, Kiambu is relatively a highland, but you'll find that I have a mixed breed of both the Masai sheep, the Doba. I also do some few merino sheep, which is an inbreed, or which is a crossbreed of the Masai Doba and the blackhead. The Masai one is that it's easy to acquire. You just need to take yourself to the Masai land and have yourself the Masai sheep, the Masai Doba in this case. But with the South African one, you have to know that you have to know a farmer who is rearing them. Or in either way, it depends with what the farmer wants. Personally, in terms of hardiness, I prefer the Masai Doba, which is more hardy when it comes to, bearing with the conditions that we have, for instance, here in Kiambu. When it comes to the business side of it, it's more of how much it weighs. And normally they weigh the carcass weight. That is, after you butcher it down, what's the weight in terms of the carcass weight. So for someone doing a commercial based kind of a sheep rearing, I would really advise one to go for the heavily built ones. In this case, the Masai Doba, or rather the South African Doba. But for someone like me who is a Gikuyu, who really regard sheep as otoga, we really are not more into the business side of it, but as our traditions dictate, utonga wa mundurume ni mahiũ kana ng'ondu ciake. When it comes to wool, there are two ways of getting the wool out of the sheep. One, you can shave the wool. The other option, which now personally I've adapted in my farm, is the deworming. There is a dewormer. When you deworm, the sheep will wear off the wool itself. You don't need to shear the wool from the sheep. And I will highly recommend farmers to move to the deworming side of it, because you not only deworm your sheep, but also are controlling the overgrown wools and what have you. And as it can be observed, our sheep are very clean in terms of wool and what have you. In terms of considering the ram, one, in my farm I've divided my sheep into two. Group A with the ram, which is pure Masai Doba. Group B, which has their own ram, which is a blackhead. So this also helps in controlling inbreeding. So in an instance where Group A, a sheep lambs down, to control inbreeding, I normally take the lamb to Group B. This will ascertain that if at all this lamb grows up and a certain point she needs to be mated, it will give me the surety that the ram that mates on the Group A lamb is not the father. With that, you are certain that there is zero inbreeding in your farm. Mind you, as I had shared before, if there is any factor that dwindles down the growing of a flock, is farmers not able to control inbreeding in their farms. So inbreeding is very, very, very key for a farmer to actually consider and carry out all measures that will help curb down the inbreeding. One, as I had shared before, as we were in the shed, my sheep also fully feed on the cotton hull. But now, with the cotton hull, now I supplement some minerals, that is, the bullic, that is to help them, improve their body score. I also feed them on igata, and also, sprinkle some molasses for metabolism on top of the dry fodder. In terms of structure, it's really recommended that for a sheep pen, it must be raised. This is to help, in dung collection, in terms of, you need to collect the sheep refuse. It also, the ground, or rather the floor, should also be maybe, or highly recommended to be, made of timber, as I've done it, and should be spaced to allow, the sheep droppings to go through to the collection center. So, and I would really recommend farmers to not use metal, as metal in some instances is very prone to tetanus. And yeah, it's the sheep pen should be 90% made of, made of timber. In terms of land, you know, sheep are more of grazers, but in instances where a farmer doesn't have such a big tract of land to graze his or her sheep, you can also put them in a zero grazing unit, as I have done it. Basically, what you need to do is just a small piece of land and just construct your sheep pen. While constructing a sheep pen, as I mentioned earlier, it's very key to consider some few aspects. That is, what your sheep pen is made of. I highly, consider timber as good for, for sheep pen making, other than metal, due to proneness to, diseases like tetanus, which is a killer disease. And a sheep pen must be raised kidogo to allow the sheep droppings, an easier collection. So it basically now involves a very skilled, fundi, to ensure that whatever a client or rather a farmer has in mind is fully implemented when it comes to the construction. Mind you, when spacing up the timber, you have to ensure that the spacing is not that big, just to allow the droppings to go down, and not the sheep, height to go through the timber spacing. The same can result to breakages. And mind you, at some point, if a sheep breaks his or her leg, uh, in some instances, its recovery process is kind of, tedious. Yes.
And that, my friend, is our interview today. You have seen and heard about the expiring story of this farm and what they've been able to do from the year 2014 to where we are today. This is KI Africa. Remember to subscribe, share, and even comment. And we apologize for a little break that we had taken. We are back, fully back, and we'll be bringing you the information that you need in terms of the agricultural value and the market. Thank you very much. See you next time.